Hello everyone, and welcome to a review of Transformers Prime Starscream. And yeah, I say his name like that on purpose. I know it's Starscream though, but I just pronounce it funny. Now then, he is a Voyager. He is a Prime, a Voyager, so you know he's a good. And this is actually basically the only Prime figure I have. Here he's next to Taki, by the way. The only other one I have is a Legends class figure of Breakdown. Because in my area, Prime figures were super rare and expensive, and the only place I could find them was Universal. Until like the second wave of the Weird Beast era that was kind of dumb. But I really dig this guy. Now then, his undercarriage is unfortunate to say the least, and you can see like tons of screw holes. His face, tons of it's not there. I assure you, it doesn't exist. Man, up top, it looks so good. Prime is so interesting. It was like what the movie wanted to be. Yeah, it just looks really nice and aerodynamic. My little tail fin back here is kind of split. And you can kind of see there's a seam there, and it goes kind of to the cockpit. Kind of weird, but it's just transformation stuff, you know how it be. And then here is his mech tech weapon. And action feature is all I can really describe this as. Push this back, that happens. It's just like an erecting gun. And it's purple, which does not let light through very well, especially red light. And this is a very thick plastic, so it's just kind of awkward looking. I don't know why. And then the battery pack just makes this look ridiculous. It would have been cool without the battery pack, but it just looks ridiculous. Tokyo Tamare, so well. I just thought it was a cool shot. I thought I'd freeze frame it there. Blue, interesting. Now then, this kind of has an anti-minicon port, and you can put it on the freaking windscreen, canopy, cockpit. I can't even think straight. Oh my god. He actually does have a couple more of these spots. One up there, and then 4-ish on the wing. There's 2 male bits and 2 female bits. That's the most technical term I can think of. Don't make fun of me. So yeah, if you want, you can put this on the wing. If you move the missile, you can put this on the wing, which makes sense. And I feel from the right angle, it doesn't look terrible. Oh yeah, and the missiles can come off. They're just little like ballistic missiles. And in some versions, I think they're painted with some orange. I think there's a couple different versions of this figure. I don't know 100%. That is still pretty nice to have. And yeah, the silhouette of this thing just looks really nice. And it's pretty swishable, pretty solid, perfectly balanced like all things should be. Okay, I guess we'll get started with the transformation. This figure does have a lot of rubber. The nose cone is floppy. Bendy. Okay, so flip the nose cone up. You can see it loosely pegs into there. It's not too solid. And these little bits next to the cockpit, you just want to disconnect. They can be pretty stiff, but with the right amount of force, you can do it. And then just swivel back. I guess if you want, you can move the wings, so that's different if you want your plane to crash. And I guess you could have these bits forward still? No, okay, that's just dumb. Forget I ever said anything. But you do kind of want to bend the wings back as shown. Then you'll come back here to this main jet and just split it. And then just kind of flip the legs out. And this is the part that is always terrible on basically every Starscream figure ever. Flip the legs down. And we'll talk about that later, but it causes some issues. And the feet are pretty self-explanatory, just kind of straighten them out. And they should work a little bit better for you. And doesn't he just have fabulous pointed high heels? A very sharp Starscream. And you want to flip up these rubber spiky knee things. Okay, I'm going to copy Ingo again. In the instructions, I believe these crazy bits are supposed to go up against the leg, but that's very cluttery. It doesn't have a lot of stability this way, so the best way is to flip them down, and it gets a massive heel and a much better silhouette. That is how I display them, and that is how I'm going to show them in the video. And then you want to split this back fin. It can be a little tricky. It's a little rubbery, because of course it is. Then you just want to split this whole thing. These are going to be his arms. So this whole thing, just split it. It can be very tight. And there we go. Probably one of the tighter transparent locks there are. And because he is a pretty tall boy, I'll move the camera up. Now then, like much of the Prime series, his arms are basically just folding. Lots of folding. So we're going to start down here. So you want to take this black bit, and well, I guess it is a pit, and then rotate it down, then rotate this whole thing down again, and snap it in. You'll just, it's natural where it goes. Lift this pauldron up, and then flip the hands out, and then tuck in the little fin, and then just kind of straighten everything out to your liking, and then rinse and repeat. Take this black piece, flip it down, and you're probably going to remove his head, and flip this whole gray piece all the way around, and then just kind of slide it in until it clicks in place. Flip the pauldron up, flip the arm down, and then tuck in the little fin. Then you just want to straighten everything out, kind of make them a little hunched over, and there we go. Your boy Starscream, looking as awesome as ever. I don't think he has enough spikes though, so what you can do is get those missiles back and you put them on his arms, which works out really well. It does reveal 2 more pegs on his arms when you transform them, which is pretty nice. These 4 arms are 4 missiles. Alright, let's kind of get him straightened out to his full potential, just so we can do a little size comparison. In the show, he was hunched over a lot, and I generally try and display him kind of hunched over, but he can stand up pretty tall. I would say he's about as tall as Tahu, depends on what you consider, because his wings just are way, way, way over. And his spike, his little forehead spike, goes over Tahu's mask, but his head, I believe, is below Tahu's mask, so generally the same area. But as you can see, you know, pretty good size overall. Now then, I neglected to mention this before, but he is a first edition figure, which means he be rare but good looking. So I just want to take a minute to appreciate all his paint. He has some little orange on these wings, blue on the jets, and then he has more orange on his like thighs. He has some nice silver on his shoes, and then he has a metric meter of silver on his thighs, which looks really good. And you can see it's a really just crisp line. The inside of his thighs looks kind of bad though. He has some crotch paint, and worst part of the figure, I'm just gonna get it out of the way now. This pelvis swivel thing hinge is so loose, it does not peg in at all, and it is just so flopsy. It is very annoying. Okay, back to paint. He has some nice blue on his chest, a little bit of orange on his like pecs, nothing on the arms, and he has a little bit on his pauldrons, Decepticon symbol on this one, and his face is super nice. He has a painted face. It's silver, very crisp. He has painted eyebrows, and then his head is painted. His eyes are red, which looks super nice and very expressive. Now, in the cartoon, you'll notice his spike is red. And on the figure, it's gray and very rubbery. But I believe there was another release of this where it was red. I could be wrong though. Again, from what I've seen, there's just an alternate version of this with slightly more orange and red. But I don't know for sure. And then his hands can actually be used as anti-minicon ports. And you can plug in his mech tech weapon here. And, okay. That's gonna get those pesky Autobots. Now then, let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, articulation. It actually is one of my favorite aspects. When people talk about paint, it's just like, I can see the figure, so what? I just feel like this guy he needed some special attention to his paint because he had a lot of very small details that he didn't show off very well before. So yeah, his ankles can move back pretty far, and then move forward enough, just about that much. And then his knees just get a 90-degree bend, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, you can spike your face with a huge thing. Pretty interesting. And then his thighs are interesting. So you can go up really far. You can do a weird gymnast pose. Why not? And a hashtag thumbnail idea? Am I right? Okay, let's see if I can balance him. I will be a god tier poser if I can't balance him. I guess I'm not a poser master. Only select few Skylanders fans will get that. And then his legs could basically go 360 in this motion. Just his arm gets in the way and his wing mostly. But his thighs can't really splay out at all due to these spikes. And I guess you can bend them in weird ways, but that's just awkward. But they mostly go as far as they need to. There's not really any really crazy angle you can get his thighs to splay out. They just don't really. Okay, let me just kind of get his legs straightened out here. I kind of bent them in weird ways. Let me just kind of fix it. Okay, now then, back to this. Yeah. It's bad. I mentioned it's bad. You know it's bad. You've seen it's bad. I think that's enough. I prefer to focus on the positive aspects. Let's make war, not love. Oh wait, strike that, reverse it. Now then, his pauldrons are on a ball joint, so they can kind of just move up and down mostly. His shoulders can go up, so he can T-pose on them haters, which is pretty nice. And oh, what's this? Dab, yeah, pro gamer. What a gamer. Incredible. One of the best dab poses. I mean, what's not to love? Just look at that. Yeah, stop that before the dab police come in. I can kind of hear them patrolling. Oh well, I'm back talking about the important stuff. His arm can rotate really far. His wing was there, it'd be 360. His forearm can rotate like crazy. Well, actually, it's a bicep swivel. It's all the way up there. The little fin can pop out if you want. I don't know why I call it a little fin every time. And his elbow can just... Okay. Good. His hands are honestly a little lacking in my opinion. They're on ball joints, but all they can really do is swivel around, and they get stuck sometimes, and I wish they were a little bit more expressive, but maybe I'm being a little obsessed with hands here. His head articulation is okay. His neck is just a hinge that can go up and down, and then his head is on a ball joint, which works okay. You can't really look left and right at all, which is a little unfortunate. So he kind of has to do these like weird angles where he's like, I don't know, his articulation's okay. It's kind of weird, because it's like some poses, he just pulls them off incredibly well. Like a super dynamic dab, he's just like your go-to figure. A lot of action poses look really stupid. Now then, for the grand finale, you're gonna put his weapon on his back and then press the button and bask in its glory. Turn off the lights and it'll glow. Press the button and look at that. He can have a red thing on his chest. Incredible. Genius. I've heard some people compare this to eating. It just looks like he's eating. It could be a heart or something. I don't really know. This reminds me of something you would find in like a beast machines. Like what am I supposed to be witnessing? Like, I love the Cheetor that has the action figure that's like he's having a stroke or his neuron is firing really fast. Singular neuron. It's a weird toy. Now then, would I recommend this guy? Yes-ish. So he's a Voyager class. So he's, roughly $20. He was released in 2012. So, I'm not even going to look at the inflation rate. It's like not that much. He's like $25 or something. But here's the catch. He's first edition. So finding him is real difficult, and finding him for cheap is way more difficult. I got this guy for like $30 or something on like a bid that I won by luck. But in my personal experience, I even looked today, I did not see one that's like under $50. Very hard to find him, especially in a good condition and for a good price. But I don't know, I would not recommend paying like $50, $60 for him. I definitely think he has some flaws. 30 to 20, maybe even 35. I would say, go ahead. I still really want that Megatron, man. I've not seen one for like under $80. And Shockwave, I almost bought Shockwave again at Universal. That was like the only place I could find Prime figures. And I almost bought Shockwave, but he was like $40 or something. But little did I know, that was cheap for Shockwave. Well, c'est la vie, or whatever they say. That directly translates to yellow, by the way. And I definitely think he's an interesting figure. I say interesting a lot, it's like one of my favorite words, which is interesting. And, oh crap, I messed up the transformation. How did I do that? It's a very interesting period because it was back when they had a fairly large budget, or a bigger budget, and things were really starting to get complicated. And Prime was like what the movie Transformers should have been. Back in the day, people were always like, the movie Transformers is so complicated. But I always thought they were super simple. Like, even when I was like 3, I thought they were super easy compared to like G1, the Transform at least. But these guys are what the movie Transformers should have been, in my opinion. So I would definitely say pick up a Prime figure that is Voyager class, because you'll have yourself quite the fun experience, and sometimes even a challenging transformation. This guy's pretty easy. You can basically see where everything is when you look at his bottom, but some of them are pretty interesting little puzzle boxes, or puzzle cars for that matter. Well, that's all I have to say, so peace out.